Join me on the panel. We only have 10 spots. Currently is 9 left. I've occupied one. Please click on the link, join us here, and let's follow up with what Mr. Peter Obi is going to be telling everyone. Today, we've been looking forward to this. Peter Obi could not just come to one particular platform, so yeah, we have to have a Zoom, which is going to have, even at this particular moment now, the Zoom operator have extended it to 100. It's going to take over 100 people today. So yes, my people, click on the link, join us, and let's talk here, my people. So we are still expecting Mr. Peter Obi to join us. Currently, Mr. Peter Obi is not on screen yet. So how are you guys doing today, my good people? I can see we have more people right there. Okay, let me quickly start acknowledging the people on the panel. Before I do that, please let me go for another quick break again. There's something we need to fix right now. Sorry about that, guys.
I know they do competition with anybody. If I offend you, forgive me. Show me love. Go there, biza. Kama bara wa lo nínú ìfẹ́ kan akanbi. I know they do competition with anybody. If I offend you, forgive me. Show me love. I go show you love. Kama bara wa lo nínú ìfẹ́ kan. But I know they do competition with anybody. I go show you love it. Kama bara wa lo nínú ìfẹ́ kan. I know they do competition with anybody. If I offend you, forgive me. Show me love. I go show you love. Kama bara wa lo nínú ìfẹ́ kan. They do competition with anybody. If I offend you, forgive me. Tó bá ti sanwó fún Ṣẹ́gun nàbí o. Ẹ fẹ́ jókù. Alákọ̀bí. Ṣẹ́gun nàbí. Alákọ̀bí. Sábà mẹ́la. Anybody? Any bo. Anybody? Mo ló ń fọlú, ó gbà mí bó ṣe rí mi láti kíníṣí. Délé mo ló ń fọlú, ẹ jẹ́ ń sọ̀rọ̀. Délé o.
All right. Thank you very much, my people. We're back now. Please continue to press on the like button and help us to share. Press on the like button, help us to share, and let's do this together. I appreciate every one of you. One moment, guys. We are still waiting for Peter Obi. Don't worry. Any platform where you belong right now, I bet you, Peter Obi is not on screen yet, but everyone is currently waiting. Our principal is going to be joining us shortly. Hold on, guys. I can see the screen is already filled up. I'll be accepting you guys now. Just trying to quickly sort out this right here. Thank you. Now God bless you, my people. Appreciate every one of you equally. Thank you. All right. Okay, okay, all right. I've done that. Okay, let me start bringing people in quickly. Um, please, everybody, stay mute. Don't unmute yourself if you don't want to speak. I muted you. Don't unmute yourself except I call you. Please don't unmute yourself. Thank you, my good people. I can see we have lots of people from Nigeria this evening. Okay, we have two people. Izu you have to turn on your mic or I'll remove you. And we have Joanne Gaines. Please turn on your mic. Okay, thank you, Izu you have done that. I'll accept you in now. Joanne Guys, please do that or I remove you so that someone else can come in. Okay, you just remove yourself. Okay, yes. Any other person can come in quickly.
What we're saying here is that we want to make the system better. Today, everybody is unsafe in the country. Yes, I'm here. So for me, let's go through it. The judiciary might seem to have changed, but I still believe in it. Let us pick up the existence here. If you can see entities on if you're on the space, I can see entities. Let me know. Just hit me up on the comment section so I can bring you up to bring you up here. All right. I think that's for Nigerians to interact with our presidential candidate. Guys, please. This is right now, and you can use the hashtag parts to ask questions because that is the only way we can read questions. We have close to 3,000 comments on the comment section, and I can read all these questions. So it's important that we get you guys using the hashtag. These guys, thank you. All right, let's take the first speaker for the day. If you're up here also able to ask questions, please answer up so we can take a cue. If not, we have to drop and bring other people up. Thank you. All right, Madam Lady, why do you have this place, please? Okay, Timmy, sorry, let's take 2 minutes of the lady now. Thank you. Okay. All right, my job is good. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, sir. It's good to talk to you today. My question is, sir, your energy level, your worker level is next to none. So my question to you, what I mean is that today you're in London. The same day, it's likely you'll be in Nasarawa, and the other day you are in another state, and you still maintain this high energy. And as a young person, to me, I'll be honest to you, I'm kind of envious. So for me is, what is your secret? And before you can answer the question, I have a bigger fan here in the name of my mom who just wants to say hi for a few seconds. Hello, good afternoon, Your Excellency.
Good afternoon, Mom.
I am a concerned Nigerian, and
Thank
I am
you.
100% obedient.
Thank you, Mom.
We the people are solidly behind you.
Thank you, Mom.
And we pray that God will help us reclaim our mandate.
Well, Mom, we're committed to it. And I'm sure God that is seeing the pain and the suffering of people in this state will help us to stop this criminality that our nation is going through today. And I'm sure it will happen.
Yes, and I said victory is ours.
Thank you,
Nigeria
Mom.
is our country. Nigeria is our country, and Nigeria must survive.
It must.
Long live your victory.
Thank
Long
you.
live your victory.
Thank you,
Long
Mom.
live the president, my
Thank you.
president.
Thank you.
Long live the Federal Republic
Thank
of
you.
Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
My sister, I don't have any other energy that's better than you have. All I do is that we must be able to fight this, and I can tell you, it is the energy in you, the obedience that are committed in what we're doing. For me, like I keep saying, my desperation is to see Nigeria work. Not to be the president, but to see it work. And I know it can work. We have this pool of talented, committed people,
and allow criminals to hijack the process. Look at what we are going through. Look at the waste. If you see the struggle now to be anything, look at the amount of money we wasted going through election, spending over $1 billion to conduct an election that nobody will in any way assess as one. Look at even the cancelled so-called census. We haven't even started. We spend a fortune before we can. So we can't go on like this, where people are taking, the only thing that thrives in this country today is criminality. And they can't continue. So I'm pleading for all of us to stay on course. It's you that is giving me the energy. Your support, your belief in this movement that is giving me the energy.
I just express my gratitude and let them know, right?
Do we need to mute someone? Hello, admin.
Yeah, hello.
Did you mute
Combination.
everyone? I think you muted PO.
Okay.
Yeah, it's muted. So for everyone who are here, you know, we had quite conversation here, and then, you know, we're supposed to stream this concurrently, both Twitter space and here. And unfortunately, it took so long for Twitter to be able to come on. So at least it's only fair that we allow them for now to keep the conversation going. Please unmute PO so that we hear his this thing.
Yeah, I've asked him to unmute, so I think he would have to unmute from his end.
Okay, let me go over and call the PA. And I don't know why when he's talking, there's one Cosmos that throws him off as a spotlight. Let's just spotlight him for now. I don't know what was happening. Was he speaking of, but he just keeps coming on. Let's just try and spotlight him when he comes on. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I think one of the things everyone have to understand is that giving up is not an option at all. Yeah, so he was muted. They're going to unmute him. I think from all of this that we're hearing is the fact that, look, there's nothing about giving up on this thing, and we must understand that when you're fighting criminality,
okay.
you know also
Okay.
Hold on, yeah.
No, I take that. Apologies will be on my behalf. I know on behalf of the family, will be on behalf of just strictly Mr. Peter Obi. The family is not included.
But yeah, another one, right? Not apologizing. So on behalf of you, apologize.
Thank you.
Moving forward, guys, please don't come here and ask any questions about the ongoing court case. Please do not do that because it's still in court. We don't want a situation whereby you'll be speaking about what is not actually meant to be spoken of. So please keep your question very simple, short, and forward. Thank you very much. Back to you now, Salah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. So that's just one part of the movement you have not been with, you have not spoken to. So you see, and I think it speaks for majority of us. Please, just going forward, I'm happy that you can keep up here and say you can only speak for Mr. P2P and media movement are on our own. We're fighting this fight on our own because we ran for this election using it.
So I've always said that. And I've always said people, even when I was campaigning, you know, you see where David will say something, they'll say, David is this. I say, listen, David is on his own. He's even this. They say, I studied this. I said, this people even disagrees with me. And that is the new family we want to build, where people can assert themselves and say, you're wrong, you know, because I'm not perfect. I'm consistently wrong, and I apologize where I am. But I want us to build a family where we can be together, believe, even when we're talking about new Nigeria, people say, oh, Peter B can do it. I said, no one person can do it. I wouldn't do it alone. If we had succeeded, we would have sat down and bring the best people on board. And all of us will go into it and try to change it. And if we find anybody wanting, we won't even take 1 second to throw the person overboard and move on with another new person because this must work. I work in a system where I've always had people challenge me. In my 8 years of being governor, go ask any commissioner who work with me, they all still very close to me. They all disagree with me. You know, people will walk into my office and say, how can your commissioner be talking like this? You know, I asked him to do something. He said that I'm coming from the governor. He said he doesn't know who is the governor. I said, because he's the commissioner. We're all co-partners in this struggle. All I assure you is that you will not find me wanting. My style might appear to be a little bit weak and everything. And I always tell people, humility is not weakness. It is a virtue. There's nothing wrong in saying I'm sorry, and I'll continue to say I'm sorry. But we'll get there. As long as I don't do what is wrong or offend the family, I have to add a bit of my own style. And I allow other people to do theirs as well. And if there's a place where we need to sit down and discuss, we'll discuss as a family.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Okay, let's take more comments now. Guys, if you want to ask questions, I'll be taking questions from the comment sections and using the hashtag Peter will be on Power Facts. That's the hashtag we're trending today, and that's what we're asking questions from. So please, if you ask any questions, use that hashtag behind it. If not, I won't be able to read your questions. So please, very important, use the hashtag Peter will be on Power Facts. Thank you guys, all of you on the platform right now. You can retweet the space, you can share the space. Let me put that.
40,000.
Let's take
Yes, good evening, sir. It's a pleasure to have you on the space, and it's. I'm going to keep my questions short. I have two questions. The first question is, following the unfortunate outcome of the presidential election, we have seen some Western governments who are, supposed to uphold democracy, validating the unconstitutional outcome of this election. How does that make you feel? And my second question is, your decision to run under the Labour Party, inspired a lot of young people to take the bold step into politics, myself included. I contested for the House of Reps seat for Gujayala Federal Constituency. And it was my first time, contested for the electoral office. Yeah, but it was a very unpleasant experience, to watch the very flawed electoral process, especially as a young woman. It was very demoralizing. And I just wanted to ask if you have any words of advice that you can speak for.
Don't be demoralized. Don't be demoralized. Once we finish this court section, I'm going to start moving around and touring where I'll have opportunity to meet people like you. This year, everything went into a rush. Don't be demoralized. Change is a very difficult thing because we're trying to bring a change. Remember when you try to bring a change, you have for enemy all those who live off the old order. Even those you're trying to better their life, because they're not sure whether you will succeed, are on the fence. So bringing a change is a very difficult thing. I've been in this process. I contested an election in Anambra State after I had 3 years of campaign, spending a fortune of my own resources. I was in court for 3 years. I used to come to court even alone. Nobody is going to be there with you. And then, of course, 6 months into it, I was impeached for doing the right thing. It was for doing the right thing. If I give you number one item where I was impeached was because my own office as governor, the budget to refurbish it, approved budget from my predecessor was 292 million naira, and I spent only 43 million renovating it, and the house, because they were to benefit from it, said I didn't go through the due process. And that was my number one for being impeached. Number 2 item, and that's where I was same thing. They had a budget of 481 million naira, 86 million naira to rebuild and refurbish the governor's lodge, which is my own lodge, where I'm supposed to live. I did everything with 81 million naira. And on these 2 items, I was impeached for doing the right thing. If I went to court, when I presented my case in the court, everybody was. So if you're going through this, it is a difficult, painful thing. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be difficult. Look at what is happening today, where people stay 4 years in office and leave office saying they will build a house for them in the capital, build a house for them in Abuja, build a house for them in their village. So if I'm governor of Anambra State, they'll build a house for me in Oka, build it in my village, build it for me in Abuja, and pay me where they change my cars every 2 years or every 3 years. So when I said to people that Anambra State have not bought me a bottle of Coke since I left, people are saying, you're crazy, you're useless, you're this. At times, even your family members are questioning, what are you doing? Are you the only human being? So it is difficult. But remember, we believe that we must change this because we're on the right course. Otherwise, we'll consume everybody. So please do not be deterred, do not be demoralized. I know you've spent your time, your energy, your resources. It is difficult, but don't go away.
Thank you very much. Benjamin, you have the space. Please take it. Please. Guys, let's give our question just one. We have plenty of ask questions, so let's just drop one question frame your mind, pose a question, and ask a question, and give a question. Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. Let's send the letter. So, Benjamin, I want to say thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
I just want to come here and give you that comment like this. Don't forget, 1 year and a today, you left it behind. We all followed you. Change. I never saw you do it. The journey that you started this together, we are with you till the end.
Thank you.
Do not be afraid. Be afraid. Send it back to principal and ask us to join.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the most important things that we need in a position that we become the president of the country. That's the reason why most of us also have that part, we have that mind to say this is what we can do. And we have all of our truth. That's the reason why we're supporting you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm pleased. Thank you very much. But I also plead with all of you, if there's anything you think I'm not doing right, please feel free to tell me. Know that I'm a human being. I make my own mistakes and everything. There might be things that I've done in the past or I'm doing that is not right. Please tell me. If it's something that I need to explain, I'll explain my reason for doing it and all that. All I assure people is that I will not knowingly. I'm one person who has sworn with my life and my children that I will never knowingly do anything that is wrong or take government money. So for me, please just be advising me from, we must be a family that advises each other, tell each other when you're wrong. Especially, I want to hear bad news always. Thank you. Thank you.
Theo, can you increase the volume, please, so that we can hear what the questions being asked?
Thank you.
Saddam, real quick before you go ahead, sir, let me use this opportunity to let you know about Correlate Facts. It was born out of this movement. It is a platform that you can use it as a reference to good and factual news, the real news, because now we have different, kinds of media being controlled by the MPC. They tell them to do this, not to do this, to say this and not to say that. And Parallel Facts is just going to be giving us the news, the way. For example, they say, Tinubu peace for body. Now, so it will be like, oh, the president had a water spill on it. No, he peace for body. Now, so, sir, watch out for Parallel Facts. You can follow it. It's a place you can refer to a source of fact, good news. It is what it is. They're not sugarcoating it. They tell you the way it is. It might come late, but it's true. Thank you so much. Back to you now, Saddam.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, God, thank you, sir, for joining us. I think let me just introduce my co-host, one of us that is here, and to bring him up here has been there. That's been another task in itself, as in to bring you up here. What if could have been? I don't understand, but whether you're also running for presidency or you ran for presidency or you're here right now, please let's keep the conversation rolling, guys. A question each, 1 minute per question. Let us we have hundreds of requests and over 4,000 questions down in the comment section. So I don't know how you guys are doing, because I'm going to be here for a very long time, because Indians really want to hear you speak. Many people are banking on hearing you speak as a source of hope for them. I think I'll use the mic right now to N6 are coming right now. Then I'll come back to our speakers. Thank you. N6, are you there? All right. I think S is struggling with his network still. Let's take a lady. Then I'll come back. Come to you next if you're ready. Mumbolale, you've been here for long, so we have this in a minute.
Good evening, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Good evening, my sister.
Right, so initially I was going to ask a question, but then, I know you're a man of faith. You have described your journey as being one of with the grace of God and a miracle in itself. And so I was listening out to the Holy Spirit, and it came to me that I needed to read out Psalm 91. I know that
very good Psalm.
It is indeed.
Very good Psalm.
I am reading the Amplified version, and it speaks to the security of the one who trusts in the Lord.
Yes.
It says, verse 1, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will remain secure and rest in the shadow of the Almighty.
Right.
Power no enemy can withstand. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress.
And he is
my trust, with confidence and on whom I rely. For he will save you from the trap of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you and completely protect you with his pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and a wall. You will not be afraid of the terror of night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor of the destruction, sudden death that lays waste at noon. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but danger will not come near you. You will only be a spectator as you look on with your eyes and witness the divine repayment of the wicked as you watch safely from the shelter of the Most High, because you have made the Lord, who is your refuge and my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil will befall you, sir, nor will any plague come near your tent, for he will command his angels in regards to you to protect and defend and guard you in all your ways of obedience and service. I'll say that again, to protect and defend and guard you in all your ways of obedience and service. They will lift you up in their hands so that you do not even strike your foot against a stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent. You will trample on the foot, because he has set his love on you. Therefore, he will save you. I will set him securely on high, because he knows my name. He will set you securely on high, sir, because he knows your name. He confidently trusts and relies on God, knowing you will never abandon him, no ever. You will call upon God and he will answer you. He will be with him in trouble. He will be with you in trouble. He will rescue you and honor you with a long life, and he will satisfy you, and he will let you see his salvation. Amen. Thank you, sir. That was all I wanted to share.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. When you said that, I said a very strong psalm, and I assure you, we're all here by his grace. It is by his grace. That's why I said that those who abuse power are abusing grace of God. Whatever we are in life is by His grace. And you cannot afford to abuse His grace. And I assure you, this is our journey. We will succeed by His grace. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That was a wonderful prayer. Okay, let's keep the conversation. Mr. Junior will be there to have the space in a minute, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're excellent. It's you happy 1 year anniversary in Labour Party. You have done the unthinkable possible. I'm very my friend for you to do but did with content. I'm sure you have it along like
Open what?
wrong in Nigeria. What expose is like the level of content. There is lots happening in Nigeria that we do. Can you hear me, Tim?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please help us with more exposure information you have about things going wrong in the economy that general masses don't have access or don't know about what we have been ignorant about it. And that was a very, very, very important thing, but it was very deep.
No, definitely. You know, I say it every day that they criminalize it, you know, and that is why you see us politicians juggling and paying any amount of money for position, doing all sorts of things, killing and maiming people, doing all sorts of things. So if it is going to work, the level of aggression, the expenditure and everything would drastically reduce. And that is why we must have a process that is transparent, because once that starts, that will be begin of building a new Nigeria that will solve this problem. All these problems we're going through. So thank you. I'll continue in that direction. Now it's like I'm focused on this trial. When it's true, either way, we'll continue.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Let's take a lady right now. I'll be skipping one guy, one lady. Next, so I'm bringing up someone that I would describe as one of your top soldiers on social media. She goes, when I really try more, she goes to defending you on her own against a whole lot of enemies that come after you. So, and yesterday was her birthday, so I promised her that you're going to wish her happy birthday.
You would have given me. I wish you can even send me a number and everything so that I can send it personally to her, but go on.
Evening, sir.
Good evening, my sister.
I'm dialing in from the United States. I'm a big fan. I don't even know what to say right now. Like, I'm so excited talking to you. I've been telling everyone on the timeline, like, I'm definitely going to pass out if I say hello to you. But it's such an honor being here talking to you. And
Thank you.
Any leader in Nigeria, you don't understand what you're doing for us right now. We love you, Peter Obi, and we're solidly behind you.
Thank you, my sister.
Wherever you go, whatever you want, whatever it is, just let us know. We love you. Now, I just have one question, and this is concerning the incident that happened at that incident, especially the fact that it happened after Festus Keyamo said that they're going to match Labour Party propaganda to propaganda, and then suddenly we had the news that someone cloned your identity. So my question is, how are you handling that incident, and how would you prevent that from happening? Is the UK government cooperating with you to make sure that this does not repeat? Is there someone in custody? Is there any form of case going on? I'm just so curious about this, sir.
Let me, on behalf of the Obedient family, most sincerely congratulate you on your birthday. I know it was yesterday, but we're still on the even month. So our sincere congratulations. May God Almighty, who have been with you, bless you all this while, grant you many more healthy, fruitful, and happy years, and continue to bless you always.
Thank you, sir.
For what happened, my sister was very surprising to me. I've been to the UK this year at least 4 times. When I went to Chatham House, when I was invited by the UK government, when I went to America, because before the elections, I was invited at the State House. So I was passed through the UK. So it was a surprising thing to me to appear before. I've lived there, of course, for years. Still own a property there, because that's where I lived before I became governor. And for me to appear at the airport and we were asked to sit down, I was surprised. But all this happened within a few minutes. I must say that I was happy about it. Because there's so many dramas that happened that trip that I can't tell, and because we are in conversation in the phone, but I can tell you, a very shocking thing when somebody now appears and shows you that to me. But when I told a colleague and a friend of mine in the UK, he said, I'm going to refer you to identity duplication expert. And I went to see, after an hour, 20 minutes meeting, I came out shocked because I used to travel. Of course, first he told me, he said, Peter, listen, this is what I don't want to call some countries that use it to track people. He said, Peter, you could be implicated for sort of a rape. Because simple, you book a hotel, they book at the same hotel, they have their own gang who comes in there, you're in that hotel, set you up, at night somebody says, oh, you did this, and they call police. In the UK, everywhere in the Western world, this is a serious case that you can't get a bail for. It could be implicated in murder because it's your duplicate. And because it's your identity, you checked into the same hotel, they use it to check into the same hotel. Same thing goes if they are checking any luggage, the same thing, it went on and on and on, but thank God, nothing happened. Managing it, I've been to the UK since then, and while they too are investigating, we hope. When I arrived after that, I was asked what went wrong. I explained to them. When they found out it's duplicated, they said they are looking into it. That's all I can say for now. I'm also very careful, extremely careful. I'm managing it. I'm hoping nothing goes wrong. But it all started from here. That's all I can tell you. It's something that started from Nigeria. And I'm being careful about it.
And get to understand to see your response, that you calm and everything. And I'm like, you guys have to understand that man himself is passing through a good health himself. And the place you used to take passing through is something that's worth emulating. So thank you very much for that, sir. Please just make sure that you're always speaking up, because one thing I want to assure you here is that the people, that's what you should understand. You do not ever have something that you keep quiet. You have the people behind you, strictly behind you. So please, when we speak out, the people, the office of the citizens, ready to always stand up for you. Please, when you really have to speak up, speak up.
Now, I will, I'm sure it will even get worse as we go forward. Thank you.
Let me bring in I've been here for the longest. I don't know if your audio is good now. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I might start this. I might start asking you questions from the most basic angles, because I really want us to start somewhere and head somewhere, so that way we don't discuss tribunal in one question, then the next question we're discussing something totally different. Currently, the president-elect of INEC, we cannot even verify his real name. So I might ask you one of the funniest questions, but please, let's start at the very beginning. Excuse me, sir. What is your name? Where are you from? Who is your father? How many siblings did your father give birth to? How many children do you have? Who is your wife? Just basic standard information that currently, as we speak, we cannot even swear that the person in Asurok can give this information accurately. So let's just start at the most basic. Who is Peter from beginning? Introduce yourself to us.
Well, very simple. My name is Peter Gregory. I have a what I can call a local name, which I deliberately, people will always ask me, why, even my children, Dad, why did you leave this off? And I said to them, I don't know why my father gave me that name. Because, Peter, they say is rock. Then my father gave me an Igbo name that says, "Oh, Pase." What it means that you can't die. So I said, what a combination. So let me remove this, because I must die one day. Why should you say you can't die? So that's, I don't have sight, but it's there. But that is Peter Gregory Obi. I was born in July 19th, 1961. So I was born after the independence. I always say that for the, but of course, if there's any mistake, it's from my mother, not from me. I was born in Waterside Hospital in Onitsha. It just, everybody knows Waterside Hospital in Onitsha, where I was born. And I started my primary school in Holy Trinity Primary School, went to Santa Maria in Onitsha, and then went to St. Augustine. I was in 3 primary schools. The reason being that I had an auntie who was teaching, and my auntie is fond of me. So wherever she's transferred, she wants to go with me. And of course, I was born in a family of 10. My mother had 10 children, 10 of us. So we're quite a number. My parents lived in Onitsha. If you live in a town called Onitsha, everybody knows the supermarket they call Alde So Supermarket. 75 New Market Road. That's my father's business, the oldest supermarket in, I'll call it store in Onitsha, where my father used to trade in the 60s. Everybody knows him. That building is still there. It's where they have 75 New Market Road. They have now Mr. Biggs there, because of course, it's in years, of course. My mother is a baker and a trader. So I went to these primary schools I mentioned, I went to Christ the King College. Anybody who went to CKC in Onitsha knows me very well because I passed where I was deputy discipline prefect before I left school, played for the junior football, at least in 1 or 2 matches. So I'm well known in the CKC. From there, I went to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, from 1980 to 84. There's nobody who passed through Nsukka who will tell you he doesn't know. What am I? I'm not saying that, I'm not claiming that everybody knows me, but most people know me because everybody knows where I was as a student, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Since then, so if you go there, they will tell you where. In fact, the current Vice Chancellor is my mate. We came in the same time, left the same time. The current DVC, the 2 deputy vice chancellors are all my mates. We came in the same year and left the same year. If you ask any of them, they'll tell you, we are all the same family. Since then, I've been to other institutions for training, maybe a few months and everything, some of which I'm an alumnus of, like Cambridge, Oxford. I'm a Kellogg scholar because I've done about 4 or 5 programs in Kellogg Graduate School. So when you do more than 3, seminars, you become a scholar. So I'm a Kellogg scholar. I've been to other ones which are not ones like Harvard, Columbia. I'm a London School of Economics. I'm an alumnus of IMD in Switzerland, Institute of Management Development in Switzerland. I've been to INSEAD in France. So these are institutions, and they're all recorded. If you go there, if you say, oh, this man passed, if you look at my CV, you see what I training or seminar went there, it's recorded, you can go and verify them and all that. And of course, basically, I'm a trader. So then my trading life in Onitsha. And if you come to Onitsha, I still live in Onitsha. I'm speaking from you from Onitsha. Everybody knows it's the only place I can live in Nigeria. It's the only place I own a house that is my own. Built Portland, built it in my own and live there and everything. And that's where I'm speaking to you from now. You come to Onitsha, I tell people you're looking for P2P, they will tell you. Started my business, went into the corporate world where I sat in different companies as director. At a particular time, I was the youngest direct chairman of a bank in Nigeria. And I think it's still the same case. I was chairman of a bank at 38, 39, Fidelity Bank. At that time, I was also a director in 2 other banks, Canadian Express Bank. I was a director in about 8 companies, out of which about 6 of them are quoted. I've been the chairman of Security and Exchange Commission. And of course, I was governor of Anambra State for 8 years, where I can tell anybody while I was governor, my commitment was an issue that has to do with development of a society, education, health, and pulling people out of poverty per capita. In education, you can go and verify, Anambra was #1. In health, you can go and verify. In pulling people out of poverty, you can go and ask Mr. Bako or Samsudin, that was Minister of Finance then, ask them, who is #1 in fighting poverty while we were there? Overall, we won the NDG, Millennium Development Goal, as the best performing state in Federal Republic of Nigeria. That started in the year 2000 and ended in year 2015. I became governor in 2006, was impeached, came back in 2007. We started in 2008, but by the time it was concluded in 2015, Anambra was #1. I was even chosen by federal government of Nigeria and the United Nations office in Nigeria to speak at the UN gathering to say our experience. I left in 2014, and I've always said consistently, the day I left office, I did not owe salary to anybody, pension, gratuity, all that were being owed before I came into office, gratuity and pension, especially at local government level, totaling over 35 billion were cleared. I did not owe one contractor, one supplier, and this you can go and verify. And I had in 3 banks, Fidelity Bank, we had 12 billion naira left, $50 million. Access Bank of Nigeria, 12 billion naira, $50 million. Diamond Bank of Nigeria, Diamond Bank, $50 million, 12 billion naira. The 3 NDs are still living, the banks are still there, and I can show you the statements and everything. And since I left, there's no severance, no pension, nothing to me as a governor. I have never earned Anambra have never bought me a bottle of Coke. This is my 10th year of living office. Because I refuse to sign the Anambra Governor's Pension Law. Because I think it is wrong that somebody will stay 4 years, 8 years, and be paid 200 times what people who have spent their lifetime of 35 years cannot earn in their lifetime. Even when you've had the best, as governor, you're managing the resources of the state. So if you want to steal, you can still ask. All those monies I'm saying I left could have actually have been, I could have stolen all of them and even borrow more. Could have taken it away. Nobody asked me. I remember my late senior sister, Dora Akuyel, always asked me, Peter, why are you putting money in dollar? I said, well, listen, I'm just hedging. Now what I did is that I divided the money into 3, 1 in Naira, then 1 I'm using to buy shares, the other I'm keeping in foreign currency, just in case. They said, so why are you doing that? I said, well, listen, Auntie, every system saves. That is what I was brought up and taught in every way I've been. You must save for tomorrow, because this money we are sharing and eating is not only for this generation, it's meant for also for future generation. This oil we are sharing from is the diminishing assets. One day it must finish, so we must save for tomorrow. So there's nothing wrong in saving.
A nation that owes 7 trillion naira, about double-digit unemployment rates. Even look at how the election ran. Why are you interested in leading Nigeria? Just in 1 minute, just why are you? I mean, with all this stress, I would have packed my bags and gone to London and taken a holiday. Why are you disinterested?
Well, for me, it is, thank you very much for that question. Because you know that what is happening can change. you know you can change, you know it can be better. You know, where will you want to see a situation that can be better? And you will not want it to be better because you can sacrifice for it and make it better. Because let me use the instance of what we're going through today, especially I was speaking to somebody. I was in Kaduna. I'm sure you must have seen it in the news just yesterday. I was in Kaduna. And I said somebody whom I argued for about 2015, 2016, when Buhari was coming to office. And he was telling me that as a military person, he's going to fight the insecurity. And I said to him, listen, you don't fight insecurity by might, by power, by using guns and everything and all that. Yes, you do that, but you have what you can call fighting insecurity in what I can call natural way. So we met again, and I said, are we more secured now? So he gave me a excuse. This I said, let me tell you. The first method of fighting insecurity is by ensuring that you pull people out of poverty. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you fight insecurity. It is when you've done that that you will be able to deal with the issue of those you can call criminals. But today, the system has been criminalized because people have stolen the public wealth instead of investing it in critical areas of development like education, where you now have almost 20 million people, 20 million out of school children, where you have so many people who are supposed to be educated who have not had the benefit of passing through a school, where you have 130 million people living in poverty, and you say you want to fight security by shooting them or by putting police on. No, you need to start pulling them out. So when you think you can do something, why do you have to stay away from doing it? I'm sure you have read what WHO said. Yes, World Food Organization, WFO, said about Nigeria that there will be hunger in Nigeria this year. And even went to say that the state where we're going to have the highest hunger is going to be Borno State, Yobe, and Adamawa. And like I keep telling people, how can we have a state like Yobe that is 70.9 thousand square kilometers of land? Yobe, 45.5, and Adamawa 36 point something. These three states alone, just three of them combined, is over 150,000 square kilometers of land. That is 3 times the size of Israel. Sorry, over 7 times. That's over 7 times the size of Israel. It's over 7 times. Israel at 22.1, so 7 times should be about that size. Yet Israel can feed themselves, export some agricultural goods, though they import some because they want some variety. But these states can't feed themselves. They have been declared a hunger zone. What is the vast land doing? So if you see opportunity that you can solve this, if you see opportunity that the vast land in the north can actually earn more money than oil. Most of you are calling from, joining from United States, and you know that today, the #1 state in terms of GDP in America is California. What is propelling California is agricultural knowledge. And this is what we can provide here easily. And that is why I want to get involved. I want to get involved. I want to be part of changing this narrative. I want to be part of changing this negative situation of Nigeria. And that's why I keep saying, for me, the expression is still Nigeria work. I'm sorry I took more than 1 minute. You allowed me, even 10 minutes, but I have to do that because we can't wait. Anambra, for example, that I came and did a little work, we were number 26 and 27 in WAEC and NECO, and we became #1. Anambra became the only state in Nigeria where all secondary schools are computerized, had internet, all of them had two buses. So you can change it. And I know with people like you, we can change it. So thank you.
Yes, please, can I ask a question, gentlemen and ladies?
Oh.
Mr. Alice.
Please, Mr. Alice, please hold on, please. Write your question out. Hold on.
I dare say,
hello,
okay. We have a lot of it's online. We could more or less had an e-civil war than it being physical. Please, sir, what would you suggest for frayed nerves, especially with what happened with tribalism, anti-Igbo sentiments around this election period? How do we start to heal as a people, considering who is in Aso Rock now is not somebody we believe in? So how do we heal as a people outside of governance, considering this Pandora's box of tribalism in particular, although there was some religious and bigoted declaration to it? How do we this tribal Pandora's box?
You know,
I guess, yeah.
I'm one of those, I've always said it, and I said it throughout my campaign. The truth is that we don't have a tribalism and this religious thing people are imputing. It is strictly concussion of the political elite, the criminal elite, to continue impoverishing our people and living off the constitution. I've challenged anybody to show me where Muslims buy bread cheaper. I've challenged anybody to show me where Northerners buy bread cheaper. There's more poverty in the north and there is in the south. So it's not a tribal issue. And I've said to anybody who cares to know, if I'm president today, I'll be celebrated in the north. It's not a religious issue. I've not seen where Muslims buy bread cheaper, or there's a road town that the Muslims pass through. I've not seen where Christians buy bread cheaper or anything, or there's a hospital built specially for Christians. When Nigerians are sick, Christian, Muslim, they go to Dubai, they go to Egypt, they go to England. And I, for one, I've said it, I was governor for here for 8 years. 8 years. My ADC is from Kano, and he remains the best policeman I've ever met in my life. close today and everything. I'm not somebody who usually, I've never been, I'm not somebody who goes to hospital very often. But once in the UK, I was told that I need to go through a minor procedure. The procedure was conducted by Dr. Ayo, who is from Ondo. We remain friends till today. Whenever I'm in the UK, and I discuss about Nigeria, about everything. I have a lot of Yoruba friends, very close, whom I talk with every day. We do business together and everything. I've done businesses in Lagos. I've done businesses in North. I used to have office in Kanu, Maiduguri, and Kaduna. And I said it just yesterday, that if we want the country to work, we must resuscitate the industries that have collapsed in Kanu, Bombay, Sharadan 1, Sharadan 2, Kaduna today, Bangladesh exports more clothing, which is just textile, than we get from oil. What are we doing for Kaduna? All the textile industries have collapsed. At the time, they're doing everything. So these are things that are not going to be tribal issue. We have so many shoemakers in Aba and everything. Vietnam exports if almost about or more than we earn from oil in footwear. So why are we wasting everybody's time by not doing the right things? I'm talking about tribalism and everything. We're borrowing money, trade it away. Nobody can account for borrowed money. Today, they'll tell you this is swallowed by a snake. The next day, it's cat who took some. And what type of country is that? We want to see every other country in the world is borrowing money. America today owes more than 100% of its GDP as debts. Japan is owing 200 and something percent. But you can see what they use this for. In our own case, nobody can tell you what is happening. It's become a total joke. So that's what you see people who are elected living a life of stars, living a life of affluence, when those who elected them are dying. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for more than that. Let's just do things in our proper. That's it.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Next question, I'm going to bring up Nigerian women. Please listen to my arguments. When the current administration of Muhammadu Buhari was coming into power, they promised Nigerian women 40% of appointments. They came into power, they only picked about 6 or 7 women as ministers. One of those women, Kemi Adeosun, had an issue with her certification. She was taken away from the position, and she wasn't replaced till much later with a woman. That administration has ordered about below 10 women in government, in ministerial positions. But when you see this obedient movement, Nigerian women, sir, came out with their chests to support you. If you could tell Nigerian women the first thing, encourage them and thank them for supporting you this election, and make them promises when you become president, whenever all of this is sorted out, what would you say to the Nigerian women who believed in you, working and then moving forward with you at the helm of affairs?
You know, I've talked about women issue a lot, and my own things. Okay, let me join you and saying very big thank you to the Nigerian women, my very dear mothers, sisters. I can tell you, in Nigeria, from my own experience, women are more productive, more honest, more trustworthy than the men. I was chairman of a bank. I succeeded because I had a treasurer, a risk officer, and chief operative, they were women. Company secretary, were women. And it was fantastic because they're less corrupt. As governor, a chief of staff, commissioner for finance, head of service, commissioner for education, all the areas where I did well, I can tell you are women. I believe in them. If I believe that without bringing them on board is a major part of where we are not productive and even more corrupt. So it's something we need to do with. But knowing how things are here, we need to back it up with law. That's why I keep saying it must not go on without being backed by law. If we're going to say they will have 30% or 40%, let's legislate about it and ensure that it's going to work. I've studied what is happening in Bangladesh. If you go to Bangladesh today, because they have something that is backed by rule of law, that's why they have a prime minister today that is a woman, opposition leader that is a woman. Their number one export is clothing. That industry is 60% occupied by women in terms of employment. And I was in the villages and saw what they could do. So I assure you that I'm not going to make fake promises. I know what is happening in the obedient family, and we're going to work hard. We're going to work as a family. And you know, I can't preach, like when I came to Anambra State, I kept telling them, I can't do all this and come and fail. It will be, you know, people didn't vote for me on the 25th of February. They didn't vote for Peter Obi. They entrusted their hope on me. And you can't dash their hope. It was like going to a bank to pay, credit their money, hoping to withdraw it at an appropriate time. It's not because, I mean, they know they're not going to get anything from me other than just keeping to my promise. And I would have done that. I had people like, so many of them sacrificing and following me around and everything. It was, there's no way I would have done a lot, including ensuring that Nigerian women are brought into governance, ensure they are placed in corporate worlds, because not just in government, and pay emphasis to education of the women, young girls in the North.
Section, so engaging that way, our people, questions from our people down there, they want to talk to you, but we have about 35,000 people listening to you now, so in case you don't know,
I've had people on Zoom, and they're telling me that I've abandoned them and went on this Twitter. I was actually with them until people said no. When I was struggling with you, I was answering them, but now they feel very abandoned. Okay, I'm waiting. I'm not hearing you again. What?
Don't take that for granted. We know the law. I can tell you, sir, that most of the obedience can be your lawyers, and most of them didn't study law. Some of them now quote Constitution, they quote the Electoral Act, they quote, INEC guideline, and we know the law. So we are just telling the judiciary that we know the right thing, but we just want it to come from them. So thank you very much. I think one question on the comment section I should just ask you on behalf of that person was about the middle belt killing, and the person was trying to ask if what's your take on that, and how do you intend to handle it? When?
Let me be honest with you, it's a very sad situation. You know, I spent my Christmas in Benue in IDP camp. It is unfortunate that people can live in IDP camp and refugee camp in their country when they're not at war. Look at what happened in Plateau. It's unimaginable that all these things are happening in a country where we're supposed to have a democratic state. It's something we need to deal with head on. It's something we will have to deal with head on. I say it twice, because it all borders on lack of education, poverty, and this concussion by politicians to make us remain divided, either by religion or by ethnicity. Because people say it's about land, people say it's about this, people say it's about that, and I laugh. We have far more vast land than United Arab Emirates, Dubai, that we all go every day. So it is not about land. If it's land, I do not think we are going to be having that problem. People say, oh, it's about religion. And I've always said it, you've heard me say it several times. Our own religion is not different from what is obtainable in other countries of the world. I'm a Christian and I'm a Catholic. If I go to Dubai, when I used to go there, I worship at the Catholic church there. The Catholic church in Dubai is built, the land was donated and built by Emir of Dubai, who is supposed to be a Muslim. It was donated and built by Emir of Dubai. In Indonesia, they have church and they even have bishop there. Indonesia is the country with the highest concentration, the most populated Muslim country in the world. So it is not about religion. In London, the mosque, Central Mosque, the land was donated by the Queen of England. Was donated by Queen of England. He is not a Muslim. He's the head of Church of England, Anglican Christian Church. So it is not about religion. It is that people are not educated, they are poor, they've not been taught, people are using them, using tribe and everything to manipulate them. These are things we must deal with and deal with it head on.
Thank you, sir. We'll still have this space. I would like to have a commitment from you, sir, because the whole of obedience, we really want to be having you on spaces. Because going forward, we understand how the journey is going to be. Many of us have never been through this road before, but you have been through this road 3 times. Although as a governor, people will really need to be hearing from you. So probably when you say bi-monthly, hopefully we can really have that these spaces bi-monthly. It's going to be very, very helpful for the obedient movement. But let me allow the remaining speakers up here to ask you questions real quick. One questions each, please. And I think I'm going to take a lady, my sister Pearls, another strong voice and strong advocate for the movement, and one of your strong disciples. She's up here also. Pearls, let me bring you into the conversation now. Good afternoon. Big good evening, my sister.
Okay, good afternoon, Saddam. Thank you very much for this space. Good day, David. Your Excellency, it's very good to see you here on this space. And what I have is a comment, not a question. This is something I said to you when you came here to the US in one of your meetings with the Obedience, and I'm going to say it here again. Your Excellency, I just want to say thank you very much for who you are. Thank you for stepping up to contest. And you've given a whole lot of Nigerians hope that Nigeria can actually get better. Because trust me, before you came out, sir, a lot of people had lost hope that anything good can actually come out from Nigeria. So coming out to contest gave a whole lot of people hope. Thank you very much, sir, for changing the dynamics of the Nigerian political space. You know, so prior to the elections, I had Twitter spaces where I had over 15 commissioners that worked with you as governor, including people like Professor Stella Ukuna, and they all had wonderful reports to give about you as governor of Anambra State. So I was actually looking forward to having you as president. I know you are still going to become our president. We look forward to recovering our mandate, and we're not losing hope. Like someone has said here before, we're going to be with you. You're not going to go to court alone this time around. You have many people like me, Saddam, a whole thousands of obedience standing for you. We are with you, sir. We just want to say thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. And keep being who you are. Just keep being who you are, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, my sister. And you too for what you're doing by believing in what we're doing. And like I keep saying, if there's anything you think I'm doing wrong and everything, please be able to voice it out. Let's discuss it. You know, I want to learn as well. You know, there's a lot I can learn from all of you on how we can do it better.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Batunde, you've been here for long, so I don't know if you want to ask a question or a comment. You have the space, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Saddam. Thanks very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for being so steadfast. Your Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, I want to thank you for being as steadfast and as persistent as you have been in this fight. I want to thank you for your courage, for your grace under fire. You've been just fantastic and exemplary to those of us who are politicians and millions more who were not politicians but are now politicians because of you. The question I wanted to ask is more of a developmental question. In view of the huge debt overhang, and in my opinion, the deliberate plunging of Nigeria into needless debt over the last 8 years, do you think, sir, that once the mandate is recovered, because I believe that by the grace of God it will be recovered, do you think that we will have enough to fix our specifically transport infrastructure problems? Because I personally believe that our GDP is, the reason our GDP is low is because of the relatively poor transportation infrastructure that we have, both roads and trains and water transportation. We just seem to be determined not to maximize what we have. We haven't even finished trading within Nigeria itself. The volume of trade inside Nigeria, in my opinion, is very, very low because of our transportation problems. Thank you, sir.
Well, I will differ a bit with you. It's not just trade. The level of productivity is very low. That includes what you said, volume of trade, volume of transportation infrastructure, everything is low. And like I said before, let me tell you about debt. There's nothing wrong with that. It is what you use the debt to do that is a problem. All the G7 countries that you see that are meeting, and they call them the 7 most developed economy. None of them owes less than 70% of its GDP. To the best of my knowledge, unless it changed yesterday. America now, with about 25 trillion GDP, is battling with that 1 trillion debt. That's the biggest economy. Followed by China in size, but China is low when you compare to per capita. So I'll say followed by Japan. And Japan is owing to over 30% of their GDP. The difference is that the debts in these 2 countries, Germany, Britain, are invested. The people know where this money, is invested. They're invested for the benefit of the people. Ours is that it is all about consumption. When you borrow for production, you're going to get the benefit. When you borrow for consumption, you've thrown it away. And that is where the problem is. So we're almost at a debt of over nearly 40–50% of our GDP without anything to show for it. When Japan is owing over 230% of their GDP, everybody knew that this ballooned when they were trying to save their economy during the financial crisis. And today, Japan is still the highest holder of US treasuries. So they will have some invested. We don't have that. If we become productive, you start pulling people out of poverty, you generate more money, and with that, you start again reducing or managing your debt. Let me give you an example. Our debt today is about 80 trillion, which if you use the official rate, call it $200 billion, which is about 50% of our GDP. But I can tell you, if you borrow, if we're able to invest another 50 billion properly in critical areas of development, you can have your GDP, you can have a growth of over 6%, up to 7%, which can now bring you within a short while to a GDP of 600, which will increase your per capita, reduce your debt. Your debt is down to 200. You take another 50, your debt has increased to where it is almost maybe 60-something% of your GDP. In fact, if you borrow 100, you are 75%. But if you increase to 600, it comes down to 50. Because last 100 you borrow, you've invested it properly. If you throw money today, we can generate more money today from agriculture. It's like when people talk about this issue of rate of exchange. You can strengthen your money today by doing more exports. What drives the exchange rate? Your reserve. What drives your reserve? Export. Nigeria is a country If you use 2021, because 2022, we're still looking at the numbers. In 2021, our export was 18.9 trillion, which at 650 is under $30 billion. When a country like Vietnam, within the same year, exported over $350 billion, our own is including oil. Vietnam own is 90% manufactured goods. Vietnam, 100 million people living on 1/3 of our land because they live on 331,000 square kilometers and we live on 920-something thousand. So they have 1/3 of our land, half of our population, and their export is over 10 times ours. If Nigeria today can double its export alone, you will increase our reserve, bring down our rate of exchange, and if you continue investment in critical areas, our GDP will grow, your per capita income will grow, you pull more people out of poverty, you earn more revenue. Because one of the problem of government today is revenue mismatch. You can't earn more revenue when millions of people are in poverty. The more you pull people out of poverty, the more you increase productivity, the more you get more revenue to do government job instead of borrowing. And if you continue to invest in the right direction, the more you continue to turn around the country. And that's what we're doing. So that's why I plead with you. Do not be bothered. Don't lose hope about what is going to happen within the week or anything. Let us remain law-abiding, remain peaceful, watch what is happening. People will try to do it. And I'm not saying that those who are going to come in are not going to do the right things or wrong things. But remember what I said. The process through which people arrive into office, for me, is far more fundamental. Somebody can go to exam, do exam malpractice, copy pass, come out of school, and become the best entrepreneur, become the best of become the best of everything. For me, let's get the right things right. Let's get things right. Because that's what the children, that's what the young ones are going to look at. We now have people in primary school and secondary school belonging to cults. Belonging to cults. That is unbelievable in our country. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they have seen their parents do the wrong thing. We must stop that. And that's where I am. And that's why I plead with you people. Please, as we go through this pain, let us stay together. Let us vow to do the right things. Let us vow to do that people should have the right character. We want to see the right people where people can tell us who they are, the background, is the normal life. Nobody is a saint. Nobody will claim to be one. I don't. Maybe I've made some mistakes in the past. Maybe I've done some things wrong. Maybe I've done this. But like I always say, I can't say I've knowingly done this thing, which is wrong. I can't say, oh, I've given this resources to manage. Somebody asked me a question about a month ago. He said, Peter, supposing tomorrow we found out there's a place you stole 10 billion of Anambra money. And I said to him, "You will never find out." He said, I said, "You will never find out." He said, "Supposing we found where you stole 5 billion. I said, "You will never find out." And I said to him, "But let me tell you, remember what I said, you will never find out. You will never find out." But I told him, I said, "Let me tell you the difference between me and some other people. Assuming I decided to keep $150 million, which I left behind, and I decided to settle myself with 15. I left 135 million. I told him, I said, after all, the law they wanted me to pass, they were to build a house for me in Oka, my village, or Abuja, or 3 places I wanted. And that from what the law says, each of those that would have cost Anambra State about $500 million then. So they would have used about 1.5 billion, build 3 houses for me, buy me cars, everything was to cost Anambra when I was living 2.5 billion. And I could have said to them, "Give it to me in cash." And I took it away. I said, at that time I'm leaving office, I wasn't owing anybody. I didn't create any debt. I never borrowed 1 naira. I didn't. So, assuming that was the case, and I had to take $15 million, that is even pardonable that somebody who came, borrowed the same amount, and took it away. But that I'm telling him, go and look into that I can account for 99% of Anambra's losses when I was in government. Maybe 1% I might not account, maybe even 2%, but I'm sure that I'm comfortably over 90%. And not that even 10 years, I can account for them today. Not even going to look for any book. If you call anything, I can tell you, this is how we handle this money. This is how we handle this money. This is how we handle this money.
Sir, I just have to come in here because I am getting a whole lot of slack from the back. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm getting a whole lot of slack from the background because
I can hear you, but I'm begging to run away.
Yes, exactly. That's what I just want to do right now. That's what I want to do right now. Please, guys, you have said you're going to be coming here bi-monthly, so we have to hold you by your words. If you can account for Anambra's money 99%, you're going to hold you accountable for your words here on this platform. We're expecting you back in 2 weeks' time. Is that a deal?
No, I thought they said bi-monthly. I thought every 2 months, not 2 weeks.
Every 2 months. Okay, once every 2.
No, quite frankly, we can meet as often as we can. You know, every 2 months, so that we have enough to discuss. You know, because when we now come,
every 2 months
we cannot schedule that we will be doing maybe 2 hours, and we look at different areas because we're going to be moderating. What are we going to do every party? I remember that when it is over, I'm going to go around and thank all of you who have worked so hard, the states, everything, you know, because people have worked so hard. This won't just be a situation where it's all talk. We need to see, talk. I need to learn. I want to learn as much as possible from you people.
Thank you very much, sir. You have to leave now because my neck is on the line. If you spend 1 more minute here, I might get fired. So please, thank you very much.
Please don't who fire you.
Talk to
but let me assure everybody. Thank all of you for this evening and everything. And please remain prayerful for our country. We have no other country except this one. Remain prayerful for the leaders and the politicians, that it touches them to do the right thing, use the country's resources in where it will be productive. It touches them to obey the law, do the right things. That we cannot spend money wrongly the way we're going, just like we have just done, spend $1 billion for election, and then 80% of it ends up in the courts. We should be able to do it better. Spend money to do things in the right way, a more organized manner, and everything. Remain law-abiding, and be always, always, always say things and stand for what is right. It is important for us. If we all do it together, we will achieve. I know how dampened you are that this your effort did not come out the way you have wished. But remember, we are in a long distance race. We are fighting a battle with entrenched establishment. It is not going to be easy. You're going to even me in the coming months, I'm going to be facing all sorts of problems, allegations, blackmail, everything. No problem. Don't worry about it. Like I keep telling people, people will say, oh, you're going to be detained, you're going to be do this. Whatever happens, I'll take it. All I can tell you is that I'll remain law-abiding, I'll follow the rules, I'll do the right things. I will not in any way bring my country or you or anything to ridicule or do what is wrong in the country. We must do the right things. We must speak truth to power, whether they like it or not. We must do the right things because this is the only country we have, and we must make it better for our children and for the next generation and pull people out of poverty. We must remove it from consumption to production and make it one of the great countries of the world. So I thank you people for all your sacrifice. Do not in any way feel dampened. Feel great because you've been part of this greatness. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you on the platform. Hopefully, in 2 months' time, we'll be back here again. You address your people. Please stay strong for us. Do not cower to them. And whenever you think you're in the tight corner, they have boxed you, please speak out. The most important thing you should understand is that you have majority of Nigerians behind you, and majority of us we're going to stay with you to the very, very, very end. Thank you for choosing to do this with us on the Power and Facts. Hopefully, we have you again in 2 months' time. Hope you keep to your words by then because we'll be disturbing you. And if you don't come, we will drag you. Thank you. And please, one more thing, do not apologize on behalf of the obedience anymore. We are big enough to handle ourselves. Take care of yourself and your family. God bless you very, very much. Please. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you,
David.
Do you have any parting words? All right, I think we might have the space running for the next couple of hours. We just have reactions from people on the platform. So you can leave. You can take your leave anytime you want. We'll have reactions from our people. Thank you very much, sir, for having you here. Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thank you.
Because obviously everybody listening to this, so I would like us to start another new broadcast straight away because this is already over almost 5 hours. So I don't want us to add discussion to this. Thank you. So please, guys, if you are watching us from Nigeria Watch, we are streaming from 4 platforms right now. If you are watching us from Nigeria Watch, YouTube, we are streaming from 3 YouTube and another space. But one thing is that on Nigeria Watch, I'm going to end it. Refresh and join the new broadcast if you want to discuss this particular meeting with Mr. Peter Obi, our principal. So thank you very much. I appreciate you all. As I end this, join us again. I refresh.